your personal ATM machine dispensing cash as you desire. I have all the details and how to get one right here in the video, so let's get right into it. Alright, how cool would it be to have your own personal ATM machine? You walk up, you type in your PIN number, and before you know it, the machine is spitting out $100 bills one after another. Sounds pretty amazing to me. What do you think? Well, in this video, I'm going to be talking about something that is not a personal ATM machine, but it is also not too far off. I want to get into it and discuss all the details of how you can get easy, fast access to tens of thousands of dollars, possibly even hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's very easy and fast to get this set up, and this is actually a really good time to get this set up. So, what is this mysterious thing that I'm talking about? It's actually called a HELOC, which also stands for Home Equity Line of Credit, not to be mistaken with a home equity loan. These are two totally different products. Although they are very similar, they are also very different at the same time. So in this video, I do want to talk about a home equity line of credit and how getting one of these things can get you access to tens of thousands, possibly even hundreds of thousands of dollars relatively quickly, and you can do anything that you want with that money. Yes, anything. Doesn't really matter. So let's get into it and discuss all the details of what is a home equity line of credit, how do you get one of these things set up, and why is right now such a great time to do this. So if you're somebody who currently owns a home right now, you probably know that the value of your home has gone up significantly here over the last couple years. As a result of that, you probably have quite a bit of equity in that home as well. Now, you might be wondering, what is the equity in your house? Let's just put it this way. Let's just say, for example, your home is valued at $200,000, but you still have a mortgage on it of, say, $50,000. The difference between the value of that home and how much you owe on that house, $50,000, would be your equity. In this case, you would have $150,000 of equity in that home. Well, a lot of times, many of us go to our homes and we think, how can we get some cash out of this house? You knock on the wall, you open a door, and guess what? There's no cash there. There's no cash sitting around in your house that you can just pull out of the walls. I mean, maybe some of you have cash in the walls, but I certainly don't. Maybe if you do, that's pretty cool. But the vast majority of people do not have just cash all over in their house that they can access at any given time. However, that is the whole purpose behind a home equity line of credit, otherwise known as, like I said, a HELOC, which is exactly that. It allows you to access the equity in your home, which is exactly why it's called home equity line of credit. The line of credit version is just like a credit card. A credit card basically operates the same way. Maybe you open up a credit card and you get a line of credit, or a credit line is what they typically call it, of say $10,000. It's the exact same thing. You can go in and you can spend up to that amount, but once you kind of max it out, that's kind of it. You've kind of used it all up, and then you get to pay it back at your at your convenience, right? And along the way, you will pay interest. The same thing applies for a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. So here's what happens. Now, again, I already explained the reason why right now is actually a really great chance and a really great time to actually set up a home equity line of credit, simply because with valuations as high as they are and as prices inflated as they are right now on real estate, you probably have a lot of extra equity in your home. Therefore, you can probably get a lot of extra credit line if you were to open up a HELOC on your current residence. So, pretty cool stuff, right? Let me talk you through some more details about this. Now, here's the thing. Generally, banks will lend up to about 89%, 85%, I've even seen up to 90%. It's a very high valuation that they'll actually owe you, or that they'll loan you on that home. So for example, let's just say it's 90% that they'll actually borrow to you. Here's what they do. Let's just say that you have, for example, a $200,000 house with no mortgage at all. In other words, it's all equity, $200,000 of equity in that home. In this instance, most banks, or some banks anyway, in this example that I'm giving you, with a 90% loan to value, they could actually borrow you up to $180,000 of your equity. And in this case, it's not even necessarily borrowing, it's more like giving you access to. So it's basically like writing a credit card out to you and basically giving you the equity of your home as essentially your credit line. Sounds pretty cool, right? Yeah, so let me tell you some more of the details about this. So This is actually a pretty popular financial product. You can go out and get it at maybe your local bank, wherever you may hold a mortgage right now. Basically, anywhere that you go out to get a mortgage or any types of these products like this, you can probably get a home equity line of credit. If you want, feel free to call your bank, your mortgage broker, whoever it is that you typically go to get a loan or any type of mortgage or anything like this. There's a lot of places out there, and they all have different specifications as far as what you can get with a home equity line of credit. But here's what I would say. Before you just settle with the first place that you call around, because banks have very competitive rates on these things, and a lot of times they have also introductory rates for the first year after you open up that HELOC. So here's the details. Of course, they're going to be asking you for some personal information. They're going to want to know your income, the equity of the home. They'll want to know if there's already a mortgage on the property. They'll want to know all kinds of stuff. They'll probably want to see your tax returns even as well. But again, it's going to be specific to each individual person. So of course, just be prepared. It's just like applying for a mortgage, but it's actually a much more simple process. They're going to have somebody come out and appraise the property to see how much is it really worth. Is it actually worth $200,000? Is it worth $250,000 or is it worth $150,000? So throughout the process, at some point, they will have an appraiser come out and take a look at the property to determine how much it's actually worth. At that point, based on how much equity you have in that home, they're going to give you a certain dollar amount in which they're going to loan out to you as a percentage of that equity. So basically what they do is they just go through your situation and they say, hey, you've got this much equity in here. We can give you access up to X dollars. And then basically they just give you this line of credit that you can borrow against at any given time. Literally, you can go in there, you can take out money whenever you want, you can pay it back all in one lump sum, you can pay it back $1 a day for the next 20 years, whatever you want, you can pay it back over long periods of time. However, the only thing that you need to do going forward, so let's just say, for example, you get a home equity line of credit. Let's just say it's $50,000, right? Okay, let's just say that you go out and you borrow $10,000 out of it. Are they going to ask for that $10,000 to be paid back right away? No, they're not, actually. The only thing they're going to be asking for along the way is for interest payments. That's it. You can pay that $10,000 back at your convenience. You can pay it all back tomorrow if you wanted to. You could pay it back in 5 years if you wanted to. You could pay it back $100 at a time for the next several years. Doesn't matter. All that they ask for out of you in most scenarios is just to pay the interest each and every month. So that's one really cool thing about this. It's just like a credit card, but the difference is the interest rate on a home equity line of credit is significantly less. In fact, as of right now, a 10-year home equity line of credit, interest rates are sitting usually around about 5.25% to 5.5% as of right now, which is pretty low considering a credit card is about 20%, right? Even mortgage rates are about 5.5% on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. On a 20-year HELOC, interest rates are about 6.5%, 7%, maybe 7.5%. So again, they're a little bit higher there. Now again, you might be wondering, what am I talking about as far as a 10-year HELOC and a 20-year HELOC? Here's what it comes down to. So basically what they do is they give you a draw period. So they, again, when you come out to your bank or your mortgage broker, whoever that you meet with to set up for a HELOC, is basically they look at your situation and they'll say it's a 10-year draw period. It's a 20-year draw period, whatever. They'll give you some kind of timeline as far as how long you can draw on that HELOC. So during the time that you set up that account, from the time that you open it until that 10-year draw period ends, you can draw in and out of that account as much as you desire. Doesn't matter. You can draw in and out of it every single day for the next 10 years, doesn't matter. You can do it every single day if you want. Does not matter one bit at all. You can pay it back at your desire. You cannot pay it back. Again, doesn't matter at all. It's just a line of credit. You have access to the money. You can take it. You can leave it. If you're not using it, you don't pay anything for it. It just sits there and it's available for you to use at your convenience, just like a credit card, right? When you pull out your credit card at the store, you can use it or you can put it away and you can use a different card. Does not matter at all. The line of credit is still sitting there just like a credit card for you to use at your convenience. And then of course, just like a credit card as well, you get to pay it back at your convenience as well. So the cool thing about a home equity line of credit is, like I said, you have the initial draw period. So let's just say it's a 10-year draw period. Okay, so you start drawing on the home equity line of credit for 10 years. let's just say that over the 10-year period, you have a $50,000 line of credit, and let's just say that you borrow $20,000, right? So over the course of time, you've gone into it, you've drawn money, you paid it back, you've drawn money, you paid it back, but over the course of 10 years, by the time that the draw period is actually ended, you're sitting with $20,000 outstanding. In other words, they gave you $50,000 to borrow from, and now you have $30,000 remaining. In other words, you have $20,000 that you pulled out and you have not paid back quite yet. Now it goes into a time period where they put it into an amortized table and you start paying it back monthly payments just like you would with like a mortgage payment for probably the next 10, maybe 20 years or so. So they amortize that out over long periods of time and they put it into a payment schedule. Sounds pretty cool, right? It is cool. It's a really cool product. So this is something that is out there right now. It's available, and like I said, you can get it from your bank, anywhere. All I would do if I were you, if you're interested in looking into something like this and tapping into the equity of your home, simply call around to some of the banks. Call the bank that you use right now. Ask what they have for rates on home equity line of credit. Otherwise, call around to some other local banks in your area, as well as call some credit unions, maybe call some mortgage brokers, people like this. Anywhere like this will be able to set you up with this. And again, shop around because interest rates are going to be variable across these products, which is another thing I want to point out as well, is that interest rates on home equity lines of credit are adjustable. So as the Federal Reserve continues to raise interest rates, as the federal funds rate continues to increase, as the prime rate continues to increase, that will also adjust the interest rate on a home equity line of credit as well. So just remember, it's not a fixed rate, but remember, sometimes they do have introductory rates where they'll lock the rate for maybe a year, and the locked rate might be 2.5%, might be 3, might be 4, but they might even lock it for a year, and then once that 1 year time period ends, then it's going to go into an adjustable rate product. So just keep that in mind as well. But it's actually a really cool product, and you can get access to a lot of money. Because here's the thing, like I said earlier in this video, realistically, so many people are struggling right now and need extra money, but where do you go to turn to get extra money? Well, here's one thing. If you own a home, you have equity in that house. Well, especially as of recently with all of these rapidly rising prices. The higher the prices go, you're building in more equity in that home, right? So as a result of this, this is why I'm saying it's a pretty good time to set one of these up. And remember too, if you go out and you apply for a home equity line of credit and you get it set up, if you don't use it, it doesn't matter. It just sits there. It just sits there and waits for you to draw on it. You can let it sit there for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, and not even touch it, and it doesn't matter. It just sits there and continues to wait for you. But as soon as you draw some money out of it, then they're going to ask you to pay some interest on that money. So just keep an eye on that as well, and just be aware that you will need to pay interest on the money once you draw it out. But once it's drawn out, or if you put it back in and the money is just sitting there and you have not drawn anything out of it, you don't pay anything on it. It's just there and available. Like I said, just like a credit card. Same thing, but you're using the equity of your home as the line of credit that'd be available to you. That's why I said you can get access to tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on the value of your current home. If you have a home that's worth, say, $500,000 or $600,000, and let's just say that you have, say, $400,000 of equity, you could easily get a home equity line of credit for maybe $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. Probably not $400,000 if that's how much equity you have. You could probably get it for $300,000 easily if that's the case. So that's a lot of money that you could access that is otherwise just money sitting there in your house, figuratively, that you can't access because it's tied up in the equity of your home, right? It's not like accessible cash. So taking an asset class like real estate that is virtually non-liquid, real estate is not liquid. In other words, you can't go out to your home and all of a sudden open up a door, open up a wall, and have a bunch of cash readily available to you. That's not really how real estate works. It takes a long time to transact with real estate. However, with a home equity line of credit, this is basically turning a non-liquid asset class into virtually a liquid asset class where you can now get some of that liquidity out of your home in the form of a home equity line of credit. Pretty cool, right? Yeah, this is available to you. Anyway, like I said earlier, there is another product out there, a home equity loan And again, I can talk about that in a separate video because that is its own product in itself, but this is the HELOC, H-E-L-O-C is the abbreviation for this one. Look it up if you're interested in tapping into some of the equity of your home. Just like I said, it's like your own little personal ATM. You can go in, you can transfer money out of it as much as you want, put it back as much as you want. You can do anything that you want with the money. You can go out and buy groceries with it. You can buy a car with it. You can go on vacation with it. You can remodel your home with it. You can buy clothes. You can buy shoes. You can buy anything you want. It does not matter at all. So, pretty cool, right? Anyway, this is the home equity line of credit. I hope it gives you some more details on some of the products that are out there and available to you. And again, this is just one way that you can get access to a lot of money available right now, especially during a time when many people do not have a whole lot of extra money laying around. So, hope this video helps you out. Again, thank you so much for watching this. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out some of the other thousands of videos right here on the channel. Until next time, have a nice day. Thanks again. I'll catch you again later in the next video. Until then, enjoy your day, and I'll catch you again soon.